Doing another milepost of the Vtwin life. We talk motorcycles powered by those Vtwins, why we enjoy it, what they mean to us, and just why we enjoy the open road. Vtwin Life is brought to you by CrashIncClothing.com, also known as Crash Inc. on the World Wide Web. Man, Brad has sold a lot of stuff. You want to get some merchandise, you want to get parts, you want to upgrade stuff on your bike. He is a dealer for a lot of great companies, so check out CrashIncClothing.com and see what they got for you. Now, we got Wild Ass. You want to add some comfort to your ass? Man, Wild Ass has got you covered. They've got something you like. Use that promo code DWoods. Get yourself free shipping and put that ass in comfort. Can't forget Custom Dynamics, leading the world in LED lighting and LED technology. Man, these got some great stuff. You want to light up your life at nighttime? You want to be seen during the day? Hey, check out Custom Dynamics. Can't forget Lexan. These guys got some great comm units. I just got the new G16s. Man, you want to talk quality? These things are awesome. Loudspeakers, plus they got some air pumps, small ones you keep in your bike. They're ready to go. So check out Lexan. So now, let's get to another milepost of the Vtwin life. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Milepost 132 with my brother from another mother, Loco. What's going on, big dog?
Not a ton, man. It's been a wild weekend. The weather's been beautiful. We had the Northern Lights. What was it? The night before last. I couldn't see them last night, but a lot of people still could. Just not here in this location. But it's been a fantastic weekend.
Yeah, Facebook was flooded. I seen that with all the Northern Lights. And I mean, I think we were in bed at like 8:45 Friday nights. We didn't see shit. We were tired.
Oh yeah, yeah. And that's the crazy thing is, I was up just cruising the old tube, and Kayla was asleep. I went out, let the dog out, kind of was like, all right, before when they told us, oh yeah, we maybe could see them, we may be able to see them. National Weather Service, so on and so forth. I've been like, yeah, okay, and I look up, no, nothing. So that's the same kind of attitude I had this time. And I went out, let the dog out. It was about 12:30 at night. I look up and I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, I know I didn't do no drugs. Holy crap.
Pretty wild. So I was happy to see it though. Yeah, I was real happy.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty amazing pictures. That looked like it was a great showing of the old Northern Lights. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was fantastic, and I'd never seen them before. And neither did Kayla, but I woke her up to go take a look, and she was like, oh yeah, that's pretty, So we just, it was great. It was a good time.
Nice. So, did you get day 133 today? Am I in the right count?
Let's see. I think so.
Because I think Friday was 131. I was doing some homework, just.
Yeah, let me see here. No, yeah, 133 is today, yes. And have I gotten out on the ride yet? No, not yet. It's Mother's Day, so I'm making sure to focus on Mama and making sure she's happier in a clam. So
fair enough.
133 will happen shortly after this podcast here.
It's funny, and I didn't even think about it. We'll see, we're on. Sorry, I had my screen going big. So yeah, milepost 132 with you. 131 was honor, and actually I didn't even plan it that way. I just realized, like, holy shit, you had honor last year. Now, Loco's taking it up.
Yeah, it works.
Oh, here's a good. Hey, Fat Boy, he's probably not even 30 minutes from you, man.
Harley Fat Boy Jr.
Yeah, Tim, what state you in? He's in Oregon, you fool. Tonight we got the Pacific Northwest hookup. I got a couple Pacific Northwest guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm right in the Willamette Valley in Woodburn. So if you're living close, then you kind of know the area. Whereabouts you located there, Fat Boy? Harley Fat Boy?
He's just outside of Portland, I want to say, if I remember right. I think just a little northwest of Portland. In the suburbs. Sherwood. Oh yeah, Sherwood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just southwest of Portland. Right on. Yeah, I roll through Sherwood every once in a while. When I'm hitting Paradise or Paradise Harley or those types of places.
So it has been quite. Granted, we got in some good weather, but when you decided to take on the challenge, you want explain to everybody what you're doing, kind of your challenge you got going for this year. It's pretty freaking impressive, especially living in this region, and following along since the beginning. It's pretty goddamn fucking cool what you got going.
Man, I tell you what, when I reached out to Honor last year and said, "Hey, what's the plan for when you finish?" Because everybody knows Honor did her 365 days. She set the bar way high, um, and she says, "I don't know what's happening," and I was just, well, I don't know. Why don't I take over for you? What do you think about that? She goes, really? So she goes, well, you got to talk to Riot. He's the head MI charge, but. So I reached out to Riot, and his first response back to me was, "Are you fucking crazy?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah,
Well, it's crazy. That's the second time that Honor has ridden 365 days in a calendar year,
mm-hmm.
which is nuts.
Yeah, I think it was like 18 that she did it before.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah. So she's a beast on a motorcycle, and I've ridden with her.
Yeah.
Oh man, she is a beast on a motorcycle. And she's so small, soft spoken, petite. So you look at her at first glance, and you're like, all right, cool. Ride a motorcycle, neat. And she gets on one, and you're like, holy shit, where'd she go? She's a fantastic rider. Fantastic rider, and I got the opportunity to ride with her on her final day, down in Tyler, Texas. I flew down and met up with Wrong Way. He's another monster. Mile Monster is fantastic. A guy give you the shirt off his back.
Oh, dude, I love Wrong Way. Is such a cool dude. I know when I first got to meet him, it was in Sturgis. He actually camped out at the Wild Ass booth before we even got there. When we were, that was in Sturgis. JP. He was there at like 6 or so in the morning, waiting in the parking lot for us to show up.
Oh yeah, no, that's awesome. So I met up with him in Houston, and he had a buddy who had a bike, and he was willing to let me ride it. And I'm like, yeah, cool. So I flew down to Houston. We ended up getting that bike. It was a road glide, and we hauled ass. Mowed down on some pizza at his house, and then we hauled ass for Tyler. And it was like, I don't know, 3 hour ride. I don't exactly remember, but it was a great ride. And I do remember that I way underpacked in terms of the gear, because I got to Tyler, and it was you're kind of the middle of the night-ish or so, but man, it was cold. It was super cold, and I rolled into Tyler with Wrong Way. I'm just going, hi. That's not my typical deal, but of course I was on an airplane, so I wanted to pack as light as I could. But yeah, don't do that in the wintertime, guys. For flying, don't do it. Iceman.
What's up, Sets?
Iceman.
That'd be cool. I mean, anywhere December, that time of the year, I don't really think it matters what part of the country. You got the chance of being some chilly temps, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, and I most certainly experienced that at the beginning of my 366. Coming home. Well, my first day one was down in Texas, and then because I went down for her final day on December 31st. We partied hardy that night, New Year's Eve, and that's where Tequila Jenga came out, and we can thank Raindrop for all those stories, which was fantastic.
She's another one I want to get a hold of and get on here.
Oh yeah, well, just ask her about who can drive her Hellcat, and she'll tell you nobody until Jenga happens, and then the only person, Shell, you're driving my Hellcat. That was a great night. But anyway, so I go back to the story. Day one, I ended up heading back to Houston with the Wrong Way, and that was my day one of 366 days, and fly home on the second. But I got my ride knocked out after midnight in Houston, because if I was flying out the second, it was kind of like, well, shoot, what if I have plane issues and I don't end up in a airport in a layover and don't have anywhere to go, and I get stuck, because it's the wintertime. It's realistic possibility. So Riot was like, hey, you might want to just take off after midnight on day two and get that ride knocked out. And I was like, yes, you're right. So I did that, and I got about 50 miles knocked out that night in Houston. rode over to the Houston Space Center to where they have the static displays, took a couple pictures, and rode back to his place. But yeah, it was a great start. The weather down in Texas was fairly mild for wintertime compared to what I'm used to. And I get home, just starts dumping, it starts being all cold, and I'm just like, man, I'm doing this. Let's go. And yeah, I got through the winter. So I mean, here we are, and it's 80 degrees now, and it's fantastic.
We ain't playing tonight. Oh, that's.
What's that?
Oh, hold on. We just gotta fix something real quick here. Oh shit! There we go. Just checking the comments. One of those just had to go away.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh, Vicky Vroom Vroom's trying to play funny games. There's no way that it's 32 ounces. Can't do it. Trying to play beer drinking games.
Yeah.
Damn you, Jason.
Too much beer?
Yeah, then what's up?
Too much beer for you?
Dude, I ain't trying to shotgun 32 ounces of Citrusonic. That might put me a little over the edge. Give me a minute, Jason. Jeepers.
You gotta wake up tomorrow for work, huh?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Still getting used to that sleeping in stuff, man. It's kind of nice now getting up in the middle of the night to go to work. Get up like 5:45-ish and shit. It's fucking great.
Yeah? Good. Good. Glad you're enjoying it.
So yeah, I mean, like you were saying, you came back to weather. I mean, you even had some snow days you had to contend with.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, we had 3 or 4 days of snow, and for the most part, just ice. And I was able to make it through it. Got a local guy here in Woodburn who was posting some drone footage of what the town looked like with it all iced and snowed over. And I reached out to him and I was like, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm running for Heroes or Kids with DMD, and I'm riding every single day, so that means I got to ride in this crap. You know what I mean? So would you be open to coming over and just filming me for a few miles or whatever? And it was simply just for the fun of it, to have some interesting content. And
Yeah.
he came over and did it, and not one complaint, or he thought it was a good time. He threw some editing in there, and shipped it off to me by email, and it was great. So posted that up. Those are available on my YouTube, by the way. So that's an option. I gotta pull up my tag here and figure out. I think it's Loco TD. Excuse me. Find it here. Yep.
No problem.
On YouTube, it's Loco TD. Loco Tango Delta. So that's.
Yeah, I remember seeing him on Facebook. It's actually pretty cool footage, Looking, look at that crazy guy.
Look at that crazy guy. Yeah. Hey, Loco.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was fun. And then shortly after that, it was go time for San Antonio for the premiere. And I wasn't really planning on going to that. But I had some time off of work, and I was like, all right, well, let's go. Kayla kind of looked at me. She's like, you got to go to that, right? And I was like, yeah. She goes, there you go. And off my happy.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember waking up in the morning. It's like, dude, we got another guy in the hotel room.
Who's that homeless looking dude crashed out on the floor?
Who's sleeping in the bathroom?
Yep. Yeah. No. And that's just it. That was a wild trip. It was like kind of a good miniature like Hoko Hey type thing. Although I was crashing your hotel room in San Antonio, but on the way there and on the way back, I just Hoko Hey'd it. So right after the California-Arizona border on I-10 was my first stop. There's I don't remember the name of the town, but there's a big travel stop there, and it's like right there at the border. And that was my first stop. So I went all the way down to LA, and then I cut east on 10 through like Indio and Paradiso and all of that, and that's where I crashed out for the first night, and ended up being, I don't know, I want to say it was like 12 or 13, 1,200 miles approximately, something like that. It was over 1,000. Because in the following day when I arrived in New Braunfels, I was well over 2,000 miles. Um, and I ended up getting a saddle sore 2,000, an IBA cert out of that. And then I only slept for, I don't know, 3 hours, 4 hours, something like that. Woke up, hauled balls again, out to New Braunfels. We had all of the festivities. Um, when I arrived in New Braunfels, it was around 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning or so. Frank woke up, met me downstairs, and brought me up to the room, which was
I
very.
must have just fell asleep because I think I made it till just after 3. And then
Yeah,
I crashed. I think we got there like 2, a little after
yeah,
2.
because you guys were not too far ahead of me, and I know I was just ripping through West Texas. I was ripping, and I was trying to make it there in a hurry, and I arrived there like, I don't know, 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, something like that. Crashed out for 4 hours or so again. Woke up 9. Everybody's doing continental breakfast, did meet and greets, and went on the ride for lunch, and all the stuff and things of the daily festivities. Watched the premiere, hung out with everybody. It was a fantastic day, and then so I was only running on 3 or 4 hours of sleep 2 nights in a row. Turn around, fuel my bike up, and start heading west because I had a service to get to in where was that? Uh, North of Phoenix, Scottsdale, the biggest Harley dealer in the country. I had a service there scheduled for the next day that I was in. It was going to be like super
Was
time.
that Superstition Harley or something like that?
No, I think it's just Harley of Scottsdale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not 100% on that, but yeah, I think it's just Harley of Scottsdale. Or Harley Davidson of Scottsdale, Arizona. But that was a long haul to get from New Braunfels to Scottsdale in time for that because it was like 12:30 the next day or something ridiculous. And it was got to wasn't quite to El Paso. Wasn't quite to El Paso, and I just started seeing shit on the road. And it's as bizarre as it sounds. Okay, there were zero drugs involved, right? I just don't do that. But when you're fatigued as much as you are when you're riding long distance with very, very little sleep in a short amount of time, you know, you start to kind of see stuff on the road that just really isn't there. So you're either slowing down or you're like veering out of the way, and then all of a sudden, wait a second, where to go? I was seeing rock pillars. Okay, there were like these columns of rock, boulders that were just in the middle of the interstate. And I'm going, whoa, And then at one point there was like this large rock, kind of like you'd see in Arizona, those large plateau mesa looking rocks, and they was like leaning across the freeway, and I almost like ducked, right? And as soon as I like ducked, I'm like, okay, wait a second, this is not this is not good. I got to pull over for a little safety nap. So, the next exit I found, I pulled over. There was just a single gas station in the middle of West Texas on I-10, and it was closed down. There were a couple trucks there that were, trucks running, just passed out, taking a nap themselves, and I just threw the cot out. Took a little hour and a half, 2 hour safety nap, and off my happy ass went again, and I made it to Scottsdale. I made it in time, but barely.
Yeah, but it's good to know your limits. No, all right, cool. It's I got to stop, and it's a smart maneuver.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and and when you're doing long distance like we do, and mile monsters, all a lot of the monsters do, even Hoko Hey riders, you, you got to know your limits, because if you don't, you die. So,
Well, it's like that, as many mileposts back with Go Home Ken. He made a great statement. There's a difference between being sleepy and being tired, and you got to know the difference.
mm-hmm. Yeah, Yeah, absolutely. And the crazy thing about fatigue too is how it affects your body temperature. When I when I first got into long distance riding, it was one of those things where it's like, okay, yeah, I can ride all day, no problem, And once I started to get fatigued throughout the day, I started getting colder and colder and colder. And then I found out, that's a thing. Every time I'm on a long trip, my body, when it's fatigued, gets really cold. I don't know. And in the daytime it doesn't happen so much, but at night it most certainly does. And I could be in temperatures up here riding during the day or riding at night, in 30, 25 degrees, and be just dandy, right? But take without heated gear even sometimes. But you take that same gear, put it on me, and add fatigue to it, I'm freezing. I'm like, riding like this, just oh god, just trying to stay warm every chance I get. Put my hands down on my engine, and yeah. See, look at that, Kelp Fire. He's saying he gets cold too when he's sleepy, and
Yeah, she does.
yeah, or she, sorry. Um, but yeah, it happens, and it certainly happened to me, and it'll happen to other folks too. I'm sure. Something to keep an eye on.
Oh, Gunner. Well, yeah, he just puts his Tesla in autopilot. Just take a nap. It'll get me there.
Yeah, it freaks people out. I bet. Yeah, absolutely.
So here's what's your style now? When you're planning when you're leaving for a ride,
Yeah.
I prefer to leave early in the morning. I like getting a jump on things, and I'll leave 3, 4 in the morning. And I think the big thing, depending on where I'm going, I look at it as like I'd rather ride areas that I'm familiar with in the dark that I know, and then try to get to where I'm going early evening, especially when we're talking long distance, pushing miles. I like to get a jump start. It's just how the way I like to do it. You got a system laid down, or do you just take off when you can get going?
Um, it kind of, I don't know. It kind of depends on what the situation is. If for example, when I leave for the Hoko Hey, I'm going to give myself a solid, like, a solid buffer, a solid, 12 hours at least, if not a full day of buffer before I'm supposed to be there. Um, for when I went down to San Antonio, I honestly wasn't really even thinking about it. It was just like, okay, it'll take me 2 days to get there. And I just leave early in the morning and haul balls until I can't no more. you know, um, and a lot of times though, the rides that I do, it'll be just when I'm able to leave, I leave. When I went out to Spokane, well, that wasn't a lot of miles. It was, I got to get off work. I'm already packed. I'll leave from work and then head out to the show, the Spokane Motorcycle Show. So, a lot of times I'll leave, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And trips that Kayla's going with me, she'll join at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. No whining, or complaining. She's fantastic, and and we'll just boogie out. So with the Monster K coming up, though, the Monster K, I think we're going to do a BVG attempt and probably do the same thing I'm going to do with the Hoko Heys, give ourselves, solid 12 hours, if not a day buffer, before, all the
Yeah.
festivities are supposed to start. So,
Yeah, it gives you that, extra time. Plus, you get there early, you get time to just kind of chill out, unwind a little bit, and
exactly. Exactly.
set up camp or however you got it going on.
Yeah, especially if we're going to do it in one stint. Um, you know, doing a BVG, doing it in one stint, man, that's going to be rough. The longest she's been on a bike is 1,016 miles, and she was a trooper. And before that, it was only 200 miles. So she did a big jump, 800-mile jump from 200 miles, being the most she's ridden in a day, to 1,016 doing a saddle sore. So you know, then she's going to take another jump and do another 1,500. Now, I was able to do Bun Burner Silver on the way back from New Braunfels. So I've done it once. That's the most miles I've ever done in one sitting, if you will. So this will coming up Monster K, that'll be one for her too.
Nice. Well, that's how it was for Amy last year. I mean, her longest was 250-ish miles, and then she did almost a 700-mile day on the way to Sturgis, which was great. I mean, and the fun things, like, we just kind of took our time, ran our pace, and stop for gas. She wants to stop, then hey, cool. We'll stop for fuel. She can have butt stretch of legs and whatnot. We weren't jam packed. So we had a day buffer, and that was fun. I mean, she did great. And we had a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and Kayla, I could not ask for a better co-pilot. She's fantastic. If I got to screw around with directions or my phone or anything, I just reach back. She'll slip my glove off and do what I got to do, and she'll put it back on for me. She's fantastic, and I couldn't be more proud of her and a riding partner. She's great. She doesn't whine. She doesn't complain. People have told me before, do you realize how lucky you are to have an old lady like that? I said, yes,
yeah. Well, it's like Jason, BBGs aren't a walk in the park, man. It's a ride. And that's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I haven't completed a BBG yet. I did the BB Silver, like I said, on my way back from New Braunfels. So I'm gonna attempt at a gold, and that'll be a big one for me. I'm excited for that.
I've used Church's Gunner, but not under the awning. We just used the back parking lot last year for a Monsters Over Mountains. We crashed at a church up in Bonner's Ferry, up in the Idaho Panhandle. Mm-hmm. Worked out good.
Yeah.
Well, for some, that's when I found out my sleeping bag wasn't rated for being warm enough, and I fixed that when I got home.
Yeah, and that's something that I'm looking at too, is upgrading sleeping bag too. I've got one that works fine for decent weather, but we're on the Hoko Hey going up into Canada and Canada and Alaska. Yeah, it was my sleeping bag ain't gonna cut it up there, I don't think. So January in Texas and Southern California is still kind of chilly, and I'll be most certainly upgrading. There's a couple nights I woke up to even from
I think that night, I mean, granted it was August, and I think because Bonner's for you're up in the mountains a little ways, and we were, I think it was like mid-30s. I think my sleeping bag was rated for like 40, and I mean, I had coat sweatshirt, my pants on, socks, and my feet were so cold. There was just sleep wasn't happening for me. So yeah, I got home and I ordered that 0-degree mummy bag. It's like I ain't making that mistake again. Lesson learned.
Yeah, and sometimes it just takes those tough lessons to learn it.
Yep.
I can tell you all day, but it just depends on if you're gonna listen or not. Oh, I think I can make it. I'll be all right. Wake up shivering. Can't even operate your controls. It's all bad.
And it all comes, you hone in your kit, you figure things out as you go. It's like, hey, I think I can do this, and you find little things like, cool, this got to get changed, this got to get upgraded, this ain't gonna work, but you don't know until you try it. And tell you what, it is fun sleeping under the stars next to the motorcycle. It's a whole different experience, and it's so much fun doing it that way.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. And it's nice too, because on my way back when I completed the BBS, I ended up, I don't remember the name of the town, but it's just right at the bottom of the Grapevine. It's just north of the Grapevine, and it's
I get the door.
Yeah. So it's just at the bottom of the Grapevine. I can't remember the name of the town, but there are a ton of little restaurants and like strip malls and this, that, and the other thing, right? So there's a security company that's contracted to cruise around, right? And us long distance riders, we get woken up by security or cops all the time saying, "Hey, you gotta beat feet," So I was getting gas, all right, and the security dude, was rolling around making his rounds. I just flagged him down. I was like, "Hey, this is what I'm doing. I just need to crash for a few hours. Where's the best spot for me to go?" He goes, "Oh, well, it's just right over here on the other side of the IHOP. I'll take you over there when you're done." I was like, "Money,
deal."
Oh yeah. So not only that, but the guy kept an eye on me while I was crashed out. Kept an eye on me and the bike. So I didn't mind that at all. There was a good working relationship there. So
Yeah, kind of like Frankie was last week, and I seen his post. He crashed at the Grand Coulee Dam and got woke up by the Fed saying, "You can't be here. Private property. You can't sleep here." And they're talking about they had camera surveillance, and Frank's like, "Shit, I'd relieve myself a few times in the parking lot." And I laughed when I read that one.
Yeah, hey, if you make any money on it, just send me the royalties. All right.
Yeah,
that's what I would have told him.
They said they didn't see anything, but I laughed. I was reading that one. I was like, "That's too freaking funny."
Yeah. So moving forward, it'll be cool. I'll just crash anywhere. I see somebody talking about churches and what you were talking about with churches on the Monsters Over Mountains, and that works. I've crashed in Walmart parking lots behind rest stops, like the travel center type deals. The gas station I told you about in West Texas, that was closed down. That was great because they had a little awning, on the entryway as you were going in, they had a little awning, and I crashed right underneath that. They had a little power plug there. I was like, sweet, plug in my stuff, get a little charge on it while I was there, and keep carrying on after that. But I don't really care where I sleep as long as it's not obnoxiously loud or anything.
Yeah. So you think you kind of got your kit all honed in for when you take off for this year's Hoko Hey run?
Working on it. I've got it pretty well dialed, I think. I gotta put it through a couple shakedowns, but I think I'm pretty well dialed in terms of the sleeping bag. I want to potentially upgrade, but as far as cooking gear for my mountain house meals, that's a done deal. I already know what I'm bringing there. Gear. If I'm able to get a set of climb gear, then I'm gold. If not, I know exactly what I'm going to wear. My heated gear, good, gold. The bike itself is all pretty much dialed in on how I want things. There's only a couple upgrades that I really would like to do. It's exhaust and suspension before the Hoko Hey, but I'm gonna try to get them done. But if they don't get done, well, I'm going anyway. So it's just a few of those types of things that everything that I'm like, yes, I have to get this done. I have to get this adjusted or purchase this product, so on and so forth. All of that is pretty much done. The climb gear is just such a a big chunk of change, even with our Hoko Hey discount. It's
that's very true.
Yeah, so I'd like it, and if I can swing it before then, great. If not, oh well. I've ridden for 15 years without climb gear, so I don't think doing 10,000-15,000 miles without it is going to be that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I'm sure it makes a world of difference, though. I believe everybody on it. Trust, okay? But, for me, if I don't have it, I'm still going to be able to make it.
Yeah, it's like biking on a budget.
Yep. Absolutely.
So, if you want to do suspension, you'd shoot for legends, or, are you super picky, I guess, if, something came your way?
Not particularly, no. I'm not super picky, just anything but stock.
Yeah.
Anything but stock. Olin's, Legends. There's a few things that few of those aftermarket suspensions that a lot of people never heard of. I don't know. But there is a shop down south that pitched me a sponsorship of I would pitch me a sponsorship that would help significantly with getting both exhaust and suspension done. So I just got to work out. Yeah, I just got to work out some details on that and see if that's going to pan out. I think I end up paying for the parts. I think that's it. So that would be.
I know for the front, a lot of people, I've heard a lot of great stuff. And, I mean, Brad's one of the guys that absolutely loves it down there at Crash Inc. and the guys, plus Ryan Anderson, who's Full Throttle Hog. He's also got Pro Action in the front.
Mm-hmm.
And people really seem to fucking like it. And it's not a bad deal you can get the front, the cartridge springs and everything. It's like $390 for the front end.
Mm-hmm. That's not bad. Not bad at all.
No.
Yeah.
Everybody I've talked to that runs it, that has it, really freaking likes it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. The whole kit and caboodle that, is front and rear suspension, and then the exhaust came up to like $1,000 for parts, something like that. That's a big deal.
That ain't bad.
Yeah.
You looking at full exhaust or just slip-ons?
Probably just slip-ons. I got to try and maintain my warranty. Yeah. Well, I think what you put on there was just slip-ons. I think I got to look at that again. But in any case, whatever I put on there, I've got to maintain my warranty, which means got to have the cat converter, the O2 sensors,
right,
and all that. Just everything that Harley requires, and because I got the forever warranty, and I don't plan on losing that if I can avoid it.
Yeah, I don't blame you one bit there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know my dad had it on his 19, I think around 30,000. He's like, fuck this. It ain't fucked up now. He goes, I don't think it will. And then he started upgrading all kinds of shit.
Oh, no.
He was like a kid in a candy store. I think he put the Woods cam in it. I think he's running the Bazzani True Duals with the Chromework slip-ons.
Mm-hmm.
New intake. Yeah. I think, what did he go with? I think the Fuel Moto programmer. And yeah, he went hog wild.
Yeah. On my last, not my last touring bike, but I bought an 09 Street Glide back in 09, bought it brand new. And I went ape shit on that thing. And I had Vance and Hines, the 2-into-1, the power 2-into-1 that came from Vance and Hines back then, and that thing was a monster. I had Reinhardt's on it at first. I was like, all right, that's cool. These are great. They'll slip on. And then I switched over to that Vance and Hines. And it was like, oh, this bike just came alive. So I'm a huge fan of Vance and Hines. Thunderheader, I'm a huge fan of also, as far as full exhaust go. But yeah, I'm kind of keeping it mild on this bike. I'm not going ape shit on it.
Yeah, I know Dad said with he's got the 107, and just when he did the exhaust, the full system, and even before the cam, he said it was night and day difference. It woke up that 107 big time, and then through the cam in it, and it really gave it some more life. But yeah, he was just, with everything, you get the California emissions, they're so restricted, and he goes, you get rid of that, and he was like, holy shit, what a difference.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. And one of the things is that I want to get away from slip-ons, because on my last bike, my left slip-on was not a slip-on, it was a slip-off. I was on my way back from
yeah, Friday night had that happen to me too.
Yeah. Where was that? I was on the way back from Eagle Nest for the Hoko Hey Rendezvous, I think, is what trip that was. And we had stopped in Vegas, and Kayla had flown home to get home faster for the kids. And I was like 11 miles from home on the 5, and all of a sudden, whoa, what the hell is that? And I'm like, is that me? Because it matched my throttle. I was like, oh shit! I'm looking down, and my exhaust was just hanging off, and it slipped off the header, and I'm just going, what the hell? I'm so close to home, 11 miles. I'm just gonna ride it out, right? So I'm like putting up this hill, get over the slow lane at least, I'm putting up this hill, just gonna ride it out, And then I got to thinking, I'm like, shit, if I make a left turn, that's gonna be bad news bears. It's gonna flip me over or whatever, and it on in the rear, And
yep.
Yeah, no, this ain't happening. I gotta pull over. So pulled over, and of course I don't have the right size socket for that freaking exhaust clamp. I'm like
9/16.
Yeah, I didn't have it. I had a bunch of other sockets, other tools that I needed for other various things, but not that Yeah.
See, and I had the socket with me. I didn't have a freaking screwdriver to undo the little heat shield that was in the way. Cause I'm like, because I was basically taking it for a little shakedown run after putting those chrome works on it, and got like a mile and a half from the house, and same thing. All of a sudden, fucker got really loud, and I looked down, and fucking left side pipes hanging. I'm like, God damn. Like, hey, I got my socket set and grabbed that. Like, hey, I need my screwdriver. No, it's in my little, I had like this little mini small duffel bag, and screwdriver, some shit in, and open the saddlebag. I'm like, fuck, that bag's still in the goddamn motorcycle trailer in the garage.
Damn it.
Called the buddy that was close. I'm like, dude, you home? Yeah. I'm like, I need a flathead. I'm like a mile from your house. I'm on the side of the road.
Right on. Got lucky on that one.
Yeah, I got it on enough to get me home, and then some persuasion and got them seated in there. Because mine, I mean, there wasn't much difference with the flange, the inside diameter of those chrome works to what the outside diameter of my stock head pipes were. I'd kind of had to flare them a little bit, then I heated them up with my torch and took a 2x6 over the back of it and told Amy, I said, come here. I'm going to brace the head pipe, grab the split maul, and you're going to whack this thing a few times with a nice, lovely tap. A few times, and now got it both slid on, and we went out for a ride yesterday, and it's all good. They're not coming off now.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. It's a pain in the ass.
And I even made sure I use my impact gun when I tighten those fucking clamps. They're tight.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, I didn't, without having the socket or anything, there was nothing I could do, man. So I just, lined up the header and the tip of the slip on, and I gave her a couple whacks with, what was it? I think helmet maybe is what I used, I think, and put a bungee on it, bungeed it back to the saddlebag support, just to help, I don't know, prevent any backward motion again from it coming off. I don't know. It sounded like a good idea at the time at the end of a long trip, and I just made it home. And I got it back on, got it there and safe, but it was stupid.
Yeah.
So close to home.
That's just one thing I travel. I mean, I have a little socket set. And actually, I bought the socket set like 2 years ago because I needed the 1/4-inch 12-point for my brake calipers.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't buy just the socket. Every auto parts store in town was sold out of the 1/4-inch 12-point. So I ended up buying a whole little small socket set, and it always lives in the saddlebag. Just that cheap insurance. I always take it with me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Any tool that you might need, put it in the bag, and I'm fortunate enough to, have one of those cruise tool sets. We were at the Spokane Motorcycle Show, and, me and Frankie went over and talked to the Cruise Tools guys, and they hooked us up. We got the sponsorship from them, so, we're repping their decal on our bikes as well. And they're a fantastic product. They got this nice set out little tool roll, everything that you need. If you need anything extra, for accessories, like I've got a bunch of different, Allen wrench type stuff on my handlebars and, zip tie this, zip tie that. So I've got this little accessory bag that opens kind of like a book. It's got 2 sections to it. And I put all my extras in there. You know what I mean? So instead of just a typical Allen key, I'll keep my Allen socket in there with an extender and ratchet and all that. Any adjustments that I need to make on the road is all right there in that bag. What I need, So
yeah, I have a little DeWalt bag that's similar, but the Allen wrenches I need, a couple of like Torx heads, for some of the Torx screws, and that stuff all stays in my DeWalt tool bag, which is usually always in my saddlebag, except for the day I needed it. It wasn't there.
Not that day.
Yeah, not that day. But I will say, I think I was on a little side road. Probably 30 cars passed me, and one guy stopped to make sure I was all right.
Yeah, that's good. I saw that.
So I was, hey, you know what? There's still, some good Samaritans that are looking out for us biker guys when you're sitting on the side of the road, laying on the ground, trying to wrench on something.
Yeah, and I did that just the other day too. It was, I don't know, a week or 2 ago, I guess now. But yeah, there's a guy in Salem was sitting there working, wrenching on his bike on the side of the road, and I was like, "The hell?" Pulled over, older guy, and he was on like an old shovel or a panhead, something like that. He was on a real older model, and he's like, "Yeah, I got valve loosened up on me. I got to tighten her up, and I was like, all right, well, you need anything, water or anything?" He's like, "No, man, I'm good." And sent me on my way. So that was a good little interaction. But it was good that he had his tools with him because that could have been all bad.
Yeah.
I think on those older bikes though, if you don't carry tools, you're not you're not doing it right.
Yeah. Well, look at Hyde. He's doing the fucking Hoko Hey on his pan ahead again this year, trying to complete it.
Oh, really? I didn't
Yeah.
know. That's crazy.
What's it? Oh, yeah, right. Ran out of gas on 8 Mile Bridge and no exit to stay true past him before he got there.
Yeah. That I read that little interaction between Craig Johnson and him, and
Oh, that was freaking funny.
So a lot of my couple of my posts recently, there's been little Easter eggs like, hey, pro tip, use your gas gauge.
Yeah, I called him. Actually, Amy and I talked with Craig and Renee that night. That was funny. I've seen that post. Even Craig was just laughing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good one. Man, I tell you what, if that's not a testimonial Tuesday, I don't know what is.
Right?
Yeah.
I know. I would. I know Amy's probably watching, but she knows. I told her when I went to Turbo's thing in September, I took her wild ass off the back seat, her wild ass, so I have a cooler that fits there perfectly. Well, fuck, for the last couple months, I haven't been able to find it. I'm like, son of a bitch, I'm going to have to buy another one and, replace hers that I lost. And I just happened to find it yesterday. I'm like, thank God.
I tell you what, though, that's a product you just don't live without, and it's crazy because before I had it, before I had the wild ass cushion, I was just like, man, 1,000 miles is rough, and here I am now doing 1,500, 1,000 miles, no problem, not a big deal. Let's go. It makes a huge world of difference.
Oh, it does. And you don't realize, I mean, like, I've, been riding on it for a couple of years. I mean, I've got thousands of miles on mine. I love it. And Amy and I, when we left Sturgis this year, we had the big banquet Friday night for the end of the Monster 100, and we made it to our first gas stop Saturday morning after we left the house and, parted ways with Wild Ass and all them. And I got to the first gas station, I'm like, fuck, what's wrong? My ass is bothering me. It's, and I'm like, what the fuck? I get gas, I unzip it. Somebody deflated it and let all the air out. It's like you don't realize how much difference it makes until all of a sudden it don't have air in it.
Yeah.
I was like, well played. You know what? And I laughed about it. It's like, fuck, it's a good point because you'll notice all of a sudden it's like, hey, something ain't right. And I'm getting close to that first gas station and squirming in my seat. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And oh yeah.
Boy,
somebody got me. I laughed. Well played.
Right. Well, and the crazy thing is too is you don't need much air in it at all. People think on an air cushion it's got to be fully inflated so that way it works or whatnot. Like no, that's not it. That's not it at all. You only need just a little bit so that that way your cheeks kind of hug the cushion a little bit through it.
Yeah, I mean, working for Wild Ass that week and Amy Night Sturgis, people walk up and they feel, oh, that ain't gonna do shit. I'm like, you got a minute? Come here. Grab that seat, that cushion you think's flat, put it on a seat and they sit down. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, exactly. I mean, tell you a little something about this. And no, that's the thing. So many people, from being able to work with them at a show and understand it, it's, you think they're flat, but they're all interconnected air cells. So once you sit on it, it's going to contour to your ass. And seeing the look on people's face when they would think it's nothing, they sit on it like, holy shit. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, Venus?
Yeah, we first tried Wild Ass in Eagle Nest, New Mexico at the Rendezvous. So, we rolled down there. We stayed with Larry Patton, not Paco.
Not Paco.
Yeah, not Paco. Shell, Riot, Valerie, and Craig. We all stayed in the house down there in Eagle Nest. I think I got everybody. Valerie Stewart and Craig Tooley. And Larry was, we were going to Taos for the day, for a few hours, whatever, screw around, go shopping, whatever. And, Larry's like, hey, you want to try out the Wild Ass? sure, why not? So, Kayla got to try it out first. I don't know. I think she may have asked. I don't know. But in any case, Kayla got to try it out first, and I was like, all right, well, let me try it on the way back. Back to Eagle Nest from Taos because it was only a half-hour ride, something like that. It was pretty close. And she's like, no. I'm like, what do you mean? Let me try this thing. She was like, we have to get some of these. And after the ride back, I was like, oh yes, we do. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it took a little bit, but ended up getting them, and man, I'll tell you what, we're happier than clams with them.
Oh yeah, they're definitely worth it. It's amazing, it's like people. I'm gonna, nothing against whatever brand of seat you want to buy, but for a third of that seat, you can get a wild ass, and you can be pretty goddamn comfortable.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, people are buying these seats, and I'm just like, why? I'm just gonna use my stock seat, put a wild ass on it, and the only thing that might help me even remotely close is backrest, and that's the only thing that I would look to upgrade to my seating arrangement.
Yeah, I used to have a backrest. It
sounds
we were
that you don't.
No, I don't have it no more. We stopped. See, it was on the way over to Sturgis. We were somewhere in Missoula. Or not Missoula, Montana. It was a little before Missoula. We stopped at a rest stop, and Amy's like, "Hey, can we just take the backrest out? She goes, get a little bit more room." I'm like, "Hey, no problem. It slips out." So I took the backrest out, and I had my Kimimoto tour pack bag on and the T-bag tour pack. I'll send you a picture on the bike, and so I wedged the backrest between the two of them. Should be fit. It'll be good and secure. We're flying down the highway, cruising along down I-90, and some dude in this caddy is next to me giving me the arm signals. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking to me? It's like, dude, I can't hear you. Roll down your window. And he's like, you lost something. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Pull over, and sure shit, that backrest had worked its way out from like the T-bag or whatnot would shift over, and Amy would hit it with her arm, and it left the chat there on I-90 somewhere in Montana. There's a backrest on the side of the highway. If anybody wants one, it's there.
Happy searching.
Yeah. I just laughed. I'm like, well, I guess they'll get another one. And I still haven't yet, but one of these days.
Yeah, there's a lot of those things that happen. Yeah, one of these days I'll do that. One of these days I'll get that,
Well, and for some of the rides, like I like when I'm doing, different monster rides or long distance. If I'm going solo, I have a really nice cooler that fits on the back seat, and I actually have to take the backrest out to use the cooler because I'll, throw some water bottles and Gatorade or whatnot. Because I like to have cold water and, just fluids. It's another, I think, important thing when you're going down the road. It's not just, you're stopping to fill your bike. You need to fill yourself and, keep yourself hydrated because you don't realize how dehydrated you can get. And so I like to take plenty of, fluids and snacks and whatnot. So I strap my cooler with a rock strap on the back seat. And it works great.
Yeah.
And it's also a killer backrest.
Yeah. Well, see, I wish mine. So I got this angle cooler for work, and it's my daily thing I take to work for my lunch and breakfast, whatever, to get me through the day. And it's fantastic. It sits so nicely on the bike, and I just take my strap, tie it off with one of those gear ties, the rubberized gear ties to the tour pack rack. Gold. And that's the one you guys see post just recently that I redid my strap for that.
Mm-hmm.
Things money. It fits so nicely in that back seat.
Actually, I'll show you some. Hold on.
All right. But not going very far. All right.
See, I use this. It's a soft-sided Ozark, but it's so well insulated, and I just strap this one to the back seat.
Yeah.
And it works freaking awesome. I love it. And for me, it works good.
Yeah. Even Iceman's going, yeah, I love that thing. That's where he keeps all his ice. But, yeah, so my angle is just a little bit too shallow to be able to work as a backrest. So, I don't know. Maybe I might fix that. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just get a backrest and say screw it.
Yeah, you got options.
Absolutely. But I got.
Well, it's all part of the trials and tribulations. Figure out what works for you, what doesn't work. It's like, hey, cool. God, look at Jason. Look at all his changes he's gone through.
Oh man, I love watching Jason. He's like my spirit animal. Okay, like I love that
Oh,
man. He
me
he
too.
he dibbles and dabbles in with gadgets and all the stuff and things just as much as I do. You know, I love it. Okay, you know, he'll be posting something about on Facebook about something new he's doing to his bike. I'm like, oh my god, that's such a good, you know,
Hmm.
it's fantastic. Oh, there's a second. This whole time, how's that sound? Is that better? I was just
Yeah.
thinking to myself, did he hear the whisper? I don't know.
Oh, that's too funny.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah, sounds a little better now, buddy.
all right, there we go. So, yeah, I'm just watching, Setzer go through his bike and make all the changes. He says it's stock. Yeah, sure, bud. And
Right.
I'm digging it. And I was thinking about doing the Pelican case um, about a year ago, and I'm looking at it, and I keep I keep stalling. Okay, I keep stalling because taking off my tour pack, I'm gonna have a bunch of wires, and I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with those wires because I still want some of those to be operational. It's just, and I'm like,
Yeah, because you got the limited.
yeah, I did get the limited, and I don't get me wrong, I freaking love it. I just haven't gotten
Oh,
to the
dude, that's the one I want to. When I finally do upgrade here in the future, I'm going with the limited.
yeah, yeah, and it's the way to go. And I was looking at going with just a regular road glide, and with without like lower fairings. Okay, lower fairings, I love them. I love lower fairings, especially riding in the Pacific Northwest. Man, I tell you what, lower fairings are a lifesaver.
I
Um,
have soft lowers, and I love the shit out of them because they can come on and off super easily.
mhm.
And I mean, I don't have the hard lowers like you do, but lowers can be huge up here, and especially in the cold weather
Oh,
or even
absolutely.
in the wet. I mean,
Mhm.
that trip when I went down to Oregon last year, down to Brad's, to redo the front end on the bike, and I hit the worst rainstorm I probably have ever ridden in. And I
Mhm.
mean, there was 3, 4 inches of standing water on Old 99 going down by Portland, and I was soaked, but my feet and from my knees down, I was dry.
That's Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, I had soft lowers on my Street Glide too, the '09 that I mentioned earlier. That thing, the lowers are huge. Not only that, but the heated grips. Heated grips was another big thing that I was like, I really want those. So, I know that, okay, get a road glide and then add those. Okay, fine. Yeah, all right, cool. But if I went with a limited with the tour pack and all that, okay, well, I can take that off and then I have the option to put it back on if I want or not. So I don't know. I just went with the limited because of the various things that the had to haves, and then the things that I'm like, okay, I could have that. Maybe I couldn't have that. There's other options, but I might as well just have it and then have the option. I don't know.
But then you buy the standard, and then basically, you get a tour pack, you build it up. The passenger actually has less room because the limiteds, there's more passenger room on the limiteds than there is the standard.
Yeah, valid point.
Hmm.
And that's the thing. We go from my '08 that I had, my the penny, my copper bike that I had, the Ultra, and we, Kayla and I went to go test ride stuff, here and there, and she gets on a brand new bike and sits in the back, and she goes, "Oh my god, there's so much room for activities." you
Yeah,
know,
there is more room on them.
Significantly more room. I can, if she's kicked back and she doesn't have her legs tucked in or anything like that, she's just kicked back and relaxing. I can't even tell she's there. Whereas on my '08,
Yeah.
I could tell she's there. Just because it was
Hmm.
smaller seating area.
Yep.
And yeah, it's fantastic. She loves the new bike. It's it's way more comfortable for her and me. This is my first road glide too, so I'm loving it.
Oh yeah, fucking Shark Nation, buddy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely. I was always a big fan of the bat wings prior to that. Now I'm like, no bat wing for me. No thanks.
Yeah, no, not going backwards.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, moving
yeah, they,
forward
they
though.
definitely have their perks.
Yeah. And I'm on day 133.
Pretty
140.
impressive, man. I honestly, I mean, I did one of the 7-day honor roll challenges, and it's tough to ride 7 days in a row. So, I mean, my hat's off to you. It's no easy feat, and it's impressive to watch you, knock them off day by day.
I appreciate that, and it is it is difficult, because you know I've got work right now. I'm not working, so I got a little break in between job sites, so that makes it a little bit easier. But we've got 6 kids. I've got my wife, and the whole family life, right? I've got work, and then I've got obviously the Loco Motion that I'm doing. I've got to prepare for the Hoko Hey, pursue sponsorships, raise money. I've got all of these different fingers all over the place. So, working at finding the balance is tough sometimes. And for me, writing every day itself, not a problem. I can weather some storms, man. That part is not the issue. It's the logistical part of, okay, when am I going to
Yep.
find time today to get my ride knocked out? What am I going to be able to do? And while I am, that sounds like it's like a second thought, if you will. No, it's not that. It's most certainly one of the things that I think about often, thinking about the boys, thinking about, trying to get my commitment fulfilled to them, to our heroes,
Yeah.
is just making sure that I've got all my other responsibilities, taken care of as well. Okay, well, run to the store, or I got to go up to Portland to pick something up. You know what I mean? Well, shit. If I'm just going by myself, check it out. I can ride. I can turn that into a ride, and that's that. So,
Yeah.
you know, I find myself, fulfilling my commitment with the rides while, maintaining my other responsibilities at the same time. It's not just, you know, go out, and go for a little, joyride through the country, which, that works too. I've done that too, and on days that I didn't have anything going on. But I'm, finding other things and making sure that, my commitment's fulfilled with those. So it works out pretty good.
Yeah. Juggling family life. It's not like you're, excuse me, you're not a single guy that can just up and go and take off. I mean, you've got the family, you have other, obligations also besides just hopping on a scooter and riding every day.
Yeah. Well, and riding to work too helps a lot, and that helps, maintain other things, because when, ride to work, ride home, and there we go. That's done.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm only going to work, just me. Um, so that way that leaves me free to take care of my other responsibilities at the same time, and that's important, obviously. Um, but of course there are those days where I'm just like, oh man, I just want to ride. I just want to ride. I mean, we all have those days, right?
Oh
Because
yeah.
I think it was Shell that posted something, recently. It was like, it's easy to ride to work. It's stopping and going in that's the hard part.
Yeah. It's that, left turn you got to make or your right turn to go. It's like, drop a gear, keep going. Fuck. I love Shell. Shell's like, she's so fucking funny.
Hmm.
It was fun getting to know her last year when she came up here and stayed at the house for, well, God, she's here Thursday, Friday night, and then of course we rode. Then she stayed Sunday night. We got back, and no, I had a good time with Shell. She's funny as shit.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely, she is, and I've had a few opportunities to, sit down and talk with her, and get to know her a little bit, and yeah, she's great people.
Oh
Love
yeah,
her.
Amy and I love her. She's freaking great.
Hmm. Yeah, and when I rode down for honors last day on, at the beginning of the year, New Year's Eve, and Shell rolled into the gas station. I looked at her and I was like, Shell, Kayla's gonna be pissed, because she was there and she did, and Kayla didn't get to see her. So, we got a huge amount of respect for her, that woman too, and she's great.
No, Shell's super cool.
June 29th, June 29th, Loco Motion Day. Okay.
I'll be in
And
Idaho.
you'll be in Idaho? Why are you gonna be in Idaho?
Yeah, my son graduates lineman school on the 28th, so we're gonna be down in Idaho for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and coming home Sunday.
Oh, well, that's cool. Good
Yeah,
for him. Good for him. I'm glad I've been kind of keeping up, through your posts and stuff. He's sounds like he's doing really well.
he's really enjoying it, and he finally has got himself, I guess, in a way you could say, a break. Because his first 7 weeks at school, I mean, he was going 7 days a week. Because besides doing the lineman, which was the lineman school's 410s, he signed up to get a CDL also for driving the trucks and whatnot. And he also signed up for the crane operators license classes. So he got 2 different crane operators licenses plus a CDL, and which he's finally finished though the crane operators class, I want to say probably 2 weeks ago. And so now he's just doing the 410s and lineman school, which he's happy because I can now just focus on this instead of like studying for lineman, tests. And then I got to, my crane operators test here. I got to study for this. And he busted his ass for like, the first damn near 2 months. And no, he's really liking it. He, got hooked up. His group of guys he got put in with, they all really have the drive. They want to succeed and really do well. So, they meet up for breakfast sometimes on Saturdays, going over notes. They'll go to the school and study, ground courses and doing a lot of stuff. So he's really enjoying it and really happy that he got put on with a good team of guys that all want to do well. So they really help each other, and he's been really enjoying it and having fun.
Yeah, excellent. That's awesome. That's really cool. And yeah, you'll be there. And then on June 29th, we're going to have an event over here on Loco Motion Day. We're going to do a ride over here. Not entirely sure what dealership we're doing it out of yet, but look out for announcements on that. But mark your calendars, be up here in the PNW on June 29th for a ride to commemorate kind of like the halfway point. Not only is it going to be on Loco Motion Day, but there's some other announcements coming out. I would imagine after the Gump ride is complete, that you guys should just look out for. So it'll be awesome. I'm not going to spill the
Nice.
beans.
Yeah. Plus, then we got August 24th and 25th, Monsters Over Mountains 3.0. That's going to be a good one.
Yeah. I'm gonna be hard pressed to make that. We'll see. I don't know. Depends on how the Hoko Hey goes, where I end up afterward. I want to get up to Dead Horse and go hit Prudhoe Bay, since I'm going to be up there on my return after I hit Homer. It's only like 850 miles, 850, 900 miles, something like that. It was pretty much a hard day's ride up in that country, I'd imagine, to get up there. So going up there and then coming back, it's 2 days, maybe another 2 days to get back after that. I'm not sure. I haven't looked too closely at the mileages and whatnot on it, but I want to make.
Yeah, I know Wrong Way. I think he has the same plans. He's gonna do that, but then he said he will be here for Monsters Over Mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Ron Chastain, who's also riding the Hoko Hey, he's out of Wyoming. He's coming down. He said that he's committed in riding it. And a few other guys, hopefully I put the bug in Setzer's brain. So you never know with him. That guy does spur of the moment crazy shit. So you never know. Maybe we'll see Setzer up here for this year's runnings. But no, it'll be a fun group. It's going to be pretty cool. I'm excited. And it's just fun to do the stuff. It's cool to see people really like how it's going and want to be part of it and come ride it. And that's why I've kind of never really made it a public event, so to speak, because it is a challenge. I mean, it's not like, doing the Hoko Hey. I mean, it's not a severe challenge, but, this year I think it's roughly about 1,650 miles and still sticking with the goal of under 36 hours to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all back roads. And I got some cool sites this year, with people coming from out of the area that I really want people to see that don't live in the area. So it's going to be pretty cool. I'm excited for it. It's going to be fun.
Yes, it will. And I tell you, knowing this area myself, I know that people that have only ridden down in the south or only ridden on the East Coast, it's a whole different ball game up here. Whole different ball game.
And thing with mine, it's like I don't enjoy riding the interstate. I mean, there are times where, of course, you got to get on it from here to there for a few things, but I try to keep it all back highways and showcase Northwest, show people what we got to offer up here.
Mm-hmm.
So no, it's gonna
Absolutely.
be cool. I'm excited. It's always fun, and just the camaraderie of people that come, and you get to see some of those people like well, for one, wrong way coming from Texas. It's super cool, and man, I fucking love that guy. He's a good dude.
Yep. Yeah, it's always a good time anytime I get to talk to him. I love that man. And I'm still to this day, even 15 years of riding in the Pacific Northwest, I'm still finding, new highways or, highways I've never been on or whatever. And I'm just like, holy shit. That highway was awesome. I gotta remember that one, and add that to a ride that I lead at some point in time, because I've led a few, rides in the past and put them together, and some of them are just poker runs, which is fairly simple. Just hit the thing, get to the spot, draw the card, carry on. But I want to do I want to do a little bit. I want to do a little bit more scenic stuff, which is kind of where I'm going with the June 29th one, which I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for a good monster turnout. So, Iceman, this is you, buddy. I'm calling you out. I want to see you up here June 29th.
Well, yeah, if we can work out a weekend sometime, if you can get, say a Friday night buzz up here, and I'll show you some cool shit up here in the Northwest, up this way. Maybe you haven't seen, if we can work something out and you get up this way, take a fun cruise.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of beautiful highways up there too. he's like, I don't know. But the last job that I had, I was a forestry project manager, and I was up in your neck of the woods a lot. I would stay in Forks most frequently. Silverdale was another spot I stayed in frequently. Poulsbo, that area, and I just bebopped all around the Olympic Peninsula, hitting up forestry land out there. So, there are some spectacular highways, roads, and views.
Oh, there's some great places. No, we got to go a little farther north. You get up in the Skagit Valley. Skagit Valley. It's kind of like can be a motorcycle rider dream with some of the highways and the scenery that they have, and the back roads up through Skagit it's absolutely unreal. I'm going up there next weekend for my buddy Mikey McKeon. He's the president of the Fire and Iron Motorcycle Club. They're all firefighters, and every year he does the Break Your Butt In run, which is coming up this Saturday. It's like a 220-mile-ish run, and they're going all up through the Skagit County area, and he puts on a great run. And Skagit Valley is probably one of my favorite areas to go ride. It's gorgeous up there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I honestly have not been further north than Seattle on the bike.
Oh, see, and that's some prime area that is just. You get north up there, north of Everett, it's still farmland.
Yeah,
and there's some.
It's on my list of things to do. I want to do the IBA run, do the I-5 all in one day. I-5.
Oh, the Indian.
Is that
actually? I think that one I got it from right. I think they give you 26
hours. Yeah,
I think it is.
In any case, it's the end to end. I want to do that one. Starts in Blaine, ends up in San Ysidro.
Yep.
And honestly, the only sections that I haven't been on 5 is from LA south and then from Seattle to Blaine. So I've got a majority of it.
Yeah, I did a little bit south and that was just Turbo's run. That's where I got my introduction to lane splitting. And I was always, I'll admit, I was the biggest anti-lane splitter. I thought, it's not smart and not safe. And then got my education. I'm like, this is fucking genius.
I've been doing it for years in Oregon. It's legal as hell. I don't give a shit.
Dude, we hit some traffic, me and Michael Nielsen coming back up, and it's like, hit Portland. I'm like, fuck, I would just love to hit the fucking center and just go.
Well, yeah, see, the problem is on a bagger, though, it's a little bit difficult. So I like to utilize my lane, which is the shoulder. Either one is my lane. I don't give a shit which one.
I've done it up here, and I got spoken to last year by the State Patrol. He didn't like it very much.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I always use Waze, and whenever I'm doing it, my head's always on a swivel, just looking for cops. I almost
Well,
got
this was a big, a 7 mile backup up here on the peninsula, and 20 miles an hour up the shoulder. I went a couple miles, and then there was a stater sitting on the wrong side of the road. He's on the right hand lane facing east, sitting there because people were calling in complaints because motorcycles were on the shoulder.
Yeah.
And so, I got a spoken to. I'm like, okay. And,
I don't know what to tell
he
you.
was kind of a prick. I've got you and your buddies. And I looked up and said, dude, me and my wife have been out of state for 13 days. You and my buddies. Like, no. I know what you're talking about, my buddy, because I ain't been here.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, he wasn't very nice, but he didn't give me a ticket. I'll give him that. But the guy was kind of a prick.
Yeah,
He was a younger guy, but it was whatever.
I almost got busted the other day. I was rolling through Wilsonville, and I was, hitting the shoulder. I was just ripping, going along, and heads on a swivel, right? And I get to an exit. I'm like, all right, I got to jump over, and just right at the last second, the car right in front of me was a state trooper. I'm like, oh shit. I cut into where I'm supposed to be, and all well behaved, prim and proper. I'm not doing nothing wrong, and so the car in front of us, between us, exits. So I'm like right behind him. I'm like, oh man, just putting right along, just cruising right along behind him. And I get over in the lane. I still stay behind him, but he's on my, on my right. What was that? 2:00, and I'm just kind of putting along, and then wait a little while longer. I'm like, all right, he doesn't give a shit about me. So I get over in the fast lane again, just and boom, I freaking book it. I'm like, I'm out of here. That was a close call. That was the closest call really that I've had for a while and getting busted on anything. Where's some wood?
Yeah. Knock on the old wood.
Mm-hmm.
Let's dive into. I know we kind of a bunch of monster stuff. You're actually riding for a different cause for your for your Hoko Hey run. So let's get a little bit of attention to that. What your cause that you got going?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the Wildland Firefighter Foundation. In the Air Force, I served 8 years in the Air Force, and I was a firefighter, crash rescue, structural firefighter, both overseas and here at home on base. So
let's take a time out for 1 sec. I just want to say, also thank you for the service that you did. Then also, I think it's awesome. I hold the utmost respect for our veterans and guys that do their time and serve their time. So thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome. Thank you. Moving out of the military though, my first daughter was born, and I was like, all right, I just don't want to go overseas anymore. So I got out. And started dabbling in civilian life, and did wildland firefighting for a couple seasons, and then went to wildland dispatch for a little while, and found that I really enjoyed the community and the camaraderie that the wildland fire community has to offer, right? And so it's kind of a cause that's near and dear to my heart, because I've seen the effects of when we lose a fireman or firefighter in general. Wildland firefighter, it's tough. Tough on the crews, incredibly tough on the family, obviously. So what the Wildland Firefighter Foundation does is that when we do lose, or we do have a firefighter that's injured in the line of duty, they go in and help the family just take care of the daily needs, take care of the, bills here, bills there, whatever, so that way it allows the family to grieve without having all of the other stresses of life. And it makes a huge, huge difference.
I could imagine.
Yeah. I mean, imagine, trying to grieve somebody, and then you're, the breadwinner of the house. And then all of a sudden now, not only are you worried about, okay, you just lost a loved one, but now you're worried about the bills. Okay, well, how am I going to try and find a job without a cell phone? If the bill's not getting paid, how am I going to, worry about the rent or mortgage payment? All of these different things. The Wildland Firefighter Foundation helps for, just to help get them back on their feet, and offers resources in that way. So it's a huge thing, and I reached out to them, even prior to applying for the Hoko Hey, and I said, hey, look, there's this challenge, this is what it is, and and I want to, the charity that I want to choose is you guys, the Wildland Firefighter Foundation. They were just kind of like, what? Who are you? Like, I said, well, I don't know. I'm nobody really. I'm just a guy. I'm just a biker. I'm just, I ain't nobody. And I said, wow, well, have you been in the community before, in the wildland fire community before? I was like, yeah, I was I was on a type 2 hand crew. I was in dispatch, so on and so forth. And they're like, wow, well, that's really cool of you. Yeah, absolutely. Whatever we can do to help you, we're all about it. So they're helping me significantly because, we've got the donation page for the Hoko Hey that goes towards the Wildland Firefighter Foundation set up directly on their website. You can find the links on the Ride for the Families of the Fallen page on Facebook. You can find the links to get to that donation page. And they're helping me out tremendously. They got a little write up on their website on what it is I'm doing, what the Hoko Hey is, how you can help, so on and so forth. So they're a great cause, great folks. I stopped in Boise. We were on our way to Eagle Nest for the rendezvous, and we stopped in in Boise, which is where their headquarters is at. Did a little meet and greet, got to see their facility, and oh man, they have a beautiful facility. The architecture in that place is fantastic, and it's all dedicated to the memory of fallen firefighters.
That's super
incredible.
cool.
And and the coolest part is, every single wildland firefighter that has since the inception of the WFF, that they've helped, their families, they have in memory of photo of that firefighter on the walls, and that place is lined with them. There are photos everywhere of fallen firefighters that they've been able to help with, donations like what I'm trying to bring in with the Hoko Hey. So their facility is fantastic. Their cause is even better, and the people themselves are fantastic to work with, to talk to, anything, and they'll give you the shirt off their back too.
Which is super cool, and especially when it's something that excuse me, you've been part of, and it something you hold near and dear to your heart because you've been there, you walked that walk, and you understand it. So no, it's super cool.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to see what we can do for that campaign, and then turn around, I get accepted in the Hoko Hey, and then I start doing Mile Monster stuff, and turn around, and now I'm doing the everyday ride this year, the Loco Motion. So I've got, I'm pulling double duty this year.
Yeah, you got a full plate, that's for sure.
Yeah. But it's a great ride. It's a great ride, and I'm so thankful I'm on it. And I tell you what, I've made so many friendships on this path that I'm on. All of the long distance community, Iceman, like, Riot, just all the people that we've talked about this far. I've only met through the long distance community, and just doing that simple application to the Hoko Hey.
Well, and that's how I got to know all of them, is by doing this. Just I got bored, and it's like, hey, we got that whole fucking COVID horse shit going on. It's like, I want to try some. Talk to Amy. It's like, hey, what do you think about this? She's, hey, give it a shot. You got the gift of gab. You can talk to anybody, make friends everywhere. I'm like, cool. And no, that's been the biggest reward of this is, gosh, has been the friendships that I've made with every person that's been on. And, I got to know Riot when Mile Monsters was his dream, and to see it come full circle. And, Jason, with his help, the first ever live Vtwin life on freaking YouTube was me, Brian, Jason, and Jesus Christ, like basically figured out how to work StreamYard. Cool. What are we going to do? Well, fuck, let's go live in 2 hours. And,
hell yeah.
And the train wreck just kept going. And man, that one was so much fun. Just some of the highlights and just the memories from it. And, it just kept going, and it's been so much fun. And that's why I do this. I don't make money at this. This is my hobby. It's something I enjoy doing. And it's opened so many doors to meet people. And, introduced to other people, and it's just been absolutely crazy, just so much fun. And like, I've said with everybody, the biggest reward is the friendship that I've gotten with every person I've had on. And man, it's just so cool to, have that circle of people, and, you build that network and of friends. You get somewhere, it's like, hey, you might be in trouble. It's like, hey, hold on, I know so-and-so, maybe let me give them a call, see what I can do. And it's absolutely awesome. The community that we all enjoy so much is a pretty damn cool community to be part of.
Absolutely. And and like you said, you could be anywhere in the country damn near and be within arm's reach of somebody.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Or I mean, I had the instance of where, my daughter and her new husband, they were moving, and their U-Haul got stuck, and she's 3 hours away from me. She's like, what, they're in a panic because they're trying to leave for Colorado, and it's like, hey, let me make a phone call, call up a buddy that I got to know through doing this, Mikey McKeon, who's a firefighter up in Cedar Woolley, and called him, and he's like, I'm an hour away. He goes, send me the address, send her my phone number, and he goes, I'll get him out, don't you worry, man. He went out of his way, going basically from the Canadian border down to Arlington. It was an hour plus, and he went down there, and he's like, dude, I got the 12,000-pound winch on the fucking Dodge. He goes, I'll get that fucker out one way or another. Don't you worry. I got plans. And he did, and it's amazing. It's like, my daughter tried to give money. He's like, no way. He goes, I ain't taking your money. He's like, man, your dad's a good friend of mine. He's like, and besides that, he's like, you guys are starting a new adventure. You're moving. He goes, I'm part of your adventure. He goes, I'm part of your story.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, to me, he goes, that man, that's all I need. And
can't put a price on that.
It's super cool to know that you got people like that you get to know through this, and it's a family.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. So, well, shoot, buddy. Thanks for coming and hanging out on a Sunday.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I just want to
always fun to catch up.
One more
Go
thing,
for it.
though. Put a huge shout out to all the moms out there. Happy
Absolutely.
Mother's Day. Yeah.
Happy Mother's Day to all of them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Amy, your wife, happy birthday. I'm sorry, happy Mother's Day.
Well, the birthday's tomorrow.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, her birthday's tomorrow.
Well, happy birthday.
There you go, buddy.
That worked out pretty good. But,
that's right.
Yeah, huge shout out to the moms. Y'all, without y'all, we couldn't do the crazy ass shit that we do. 100%.
Amen. So, well, thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. Been another Milepost. We knocked down 132 with Loco. It's just been an awesome, it was so fun actually. We've been friends online, and then getting to meet you in person, wake up and you're sleeping at the foot of my bed in a hotel in Texas. It's like, fuck yeah, Loco.
Yep.
The fun ways you get to meet people, I was going to try to stay up, but man, I was fucking beat. That was such an awesome adventure.
It was.
But
it was a good time.
It was. So, yeah, everybody, thank you for tuning in, coming to hang out tonight on Mother's Day, listen to some stories, some adventures, and learn a little bit more about Mr. Loco, another Pacific Northwest guy. But, yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in, man. We will catch you soon. Till then, ride safe, have fun, enjoy that open road, and